All right, let's start. So welcome everyone. We're very happy to have Bertan Turhan from Iowa State University. He's joined by his co-author Orhan, and the topic of today's talk is how to de-reserve reserves. So let me just also tell you that the talk has some Indian context. So the talk will especially talking about admissions into IITs and how matching is done in various IITs to various categories and so on. And Bertan's PhD thesis was also on this topic, so we are very excited that he'll be talking to us about this topic. So Bertan, the floor is yours. So welcome.
Thank thank you very much. I am very happy to present first time at an Indian institution. I have been working on resource allocation problems related to India for more than 6 years so far. Almost all with Orhan, who is in the audience. You can ask your questions via chat if you prefer to Orhan, or you can just ask to me directly. So today's talk will be about what we call reserve systems. Okay, so recently in the past few years in market design, in micro theory, a lot of people have started working on reserve systems and how it can be used, or how it can be utilized better in matching frameworks. So some real-world applications include allocation of government jobs and seats at publicly funded educational institutions in India. There are a lot of papers on this topic recently. I will talk a lot about Botswana et al. So these are 5 co-authors, all from IITs. They recently, starting 2015, they changed the matching procedures between students and technical colleges, technical universities in India. So the talk will be about what they introduce and our kind of improvement on what they propose. I have been working on this topic for a long while with Orhan. We have series of papers on this. Thakur has a paper on matching process in Indian administrative services, and most recently, our Orhan and I's PhD advisor Tayfun Sönmez and his colleague at Boston College, Bumin Yilmaz, has two papers on the same topic. Another example is actually college admission in Brazil with multidimensional privileges. This was Orhan's job market paper. It is the problem in Brazil is very similar to the one in India, and the resource systems actually have been used in school choice problems in Boston, Chicago, Chile, and most recently, actually, during the pandemic, allocation of vaccines, ventilators, and other medical resources have been allocated by utilizing reserve systems. I just wrote 2 papers here, but there are a lot more. Another example is the H-1B visa allocation in the US. This is done by Patak and his co-authors. So first of all, what is a reserve system? A reserve system has 3 components. The first one is reserve categories. What this is, a fraction of available positions or units are set aside for these categories. So in the context of India, as you might all know, reserve categories are open category positions which are open to everybody. Slots reserved for people from scheduled castes, slots from people from scheduled tribes, and slots reserved for people from other backward classes. And the second component is processing sequence. This is an order according to which categories are filled. Okay. So, for example, in the context of India, open categories must be filled before SC, ST, and OBC categories. And the third one is priority ranking. So each reserve category will be associated with a particular ordering of applicants. Okay, so in the context of India, this will be ordering according to the merit score. So you see here a picture. So there are three categories. A is the set of applicants. So when this set of applicants arrives, you can think this as like a computer program. When this set of applicants arrives to an institution, it will first try to fill Q1 positions in the first category according to a particular ranking of applicants. And then among the remaining applicants, the second category will be filled. Q2 positions will be filled according to possibly a different ordering, and so on and so forth. So this is also called sequential reserve system. Well, in almost all applications, most reserve categories are exclusive, meaning a reserve category is exclusive if only applicants with certain types or characteristics are considered. So if you think about in the Indian context, you cannot assign SC or ST or general category applicant to a seat that is reserved for an SC student. Okay, other examples include, you know, in vaccine allocation during the pandemic, frontline health workers. So this is a reserve category. Okay, when vaccines are allocated for those, if you are not a frontline healthcare worker, you will not be able to receive a vaccine. Similarly, in the Brazilian context, there is a specific reserve category which is for people from low income minority people from public high schools. So you will be receiving a seat from that category only if you are a member of that category. Okay. So what happens very often is that the demand for some reserve categories is actually less than the number of positions that are reserved for that category. So if you, in the Indian context, for example, suppose an institution is trying to fill 100 positions and 27 of them are reserved for OBC category, but it is possible that only 20 people from OBC will apply. So some seats or positions will be vacant. Okay, so what we do when that is the case, or what policymakers do is the following. Actually, this is done in only a few applications, and Indian technical school admission is actually the one that uses what we call the de-reservation policy. The reservation basically is a process of providing the unallocated objects or positions to the use of others. In India, in college admission or also in job matching problems, vacant SC and ST slots by law, they cannot be provided to the use of others. But the situation is different for OBC. There is a Supreme Court decision date 2008 which basically requires unfilled OBC slots to be made open category positions. I believe, as far as I read, this is about the size because the OBC's reservations is pretty high compared to SC and ST. So generally, the reservation policy is paired with a reserve system, as it is in IIT admissions in India. So what we study in this paper, so we study reservation policy in other papers, but this specific paper focuses on how the reservation policies are designed and implemented, being consequential. And then our focus will be technical school admissions in India. So let me briefly go. I mean, I'm sure almost everybody here knows about this. Let me just briefly go over the affirmative action scheme in India that is implemented both for publicly funded educational institutions and also government-sponsored jobs. So the second bullet, actually, it must be updated now. Right now, there are 4 reserve categories: scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, and a newly introduced economically weaker section, which is in the general category. So what is interesting is people, I will maybe mention this later. So people who do not belong to SC, ST, and OBC is called members of general category, and the reservations are 15% for SC, 77.5% for ST, and 27% for OBC. The remaining 50.5% are called open category position. Here in this table, you can see who is eligible for what type of seat. Basically, everybody is eligible for an open category seat. And if SC, ST, or OBC person receives an open category seat, it is called he or she received that seat on the basis of his or her merit. And SC, ST, and OBC are exclusive in the sense that SC seats, only SC people are eligible for a reserved SC seat. Now, let me jump to admissions to technical universities in India. So it was recently reformed by a group of 5 people, some of them professors in IIT. Yash Kanoria is a professor in Columbia Business School, and I think he also has a PhD student in Columbia in the team. So as we all know, IITs are extremely good schools, Ivy, kind of like an Ivy League schools of India. So before 2015, admissions to IITs and non-IIT schools were administered, by 2 different authorities, which we call kind of like a parallel assignment markets. So there were a lot of waste because of this, 2-headed system. So some students were getting seats both from IITs and non-IIT schools. So these 5 people offered a joint seat allocation procedures that actually matches roughly 1.3 million students to 34,000 roughly university seats. So let me introduce this model, and I will be talking in detail what Baswana et al. Introduce with regard to the reservation. So this is a matching problem. Actually, it's called many-to-one matching problem between individuals and institutions. So we have a set of individuals I and set of institutions S. So these are finite sets. So for each institution, we will have a vector that shows the number of positions of these reserve categories. So this a vector, for the sake of this paper, I will be only considering open category positions for this presentation. Sorry, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes. So basically, this 4 tuple is going to show how the positions are distributed all across reserve categories. So we will call this as initial distribution, because we will see this vector is going to be updated during the matching process. So there is a merit score function. So basically, each individual will have a merit score at each institution. Because different programs at IITs and non-IITs so use different kind of weighted average of scores that induce different rankings. We will assume, not assume actually, this is how preferences are collected in India. each individual is going to submit a strict ranking across programs or institutions. So we will have this function T, which we call the reserve category membership function. So basically, each individual will belong to one of these four categories, general category or one of the reserve categories. So the first bullet point is very crucial because, as we will see soon, with an example that this will provide a way to manipulate the assignment procedure. So when an SC or ST or OBC student do not declare their membership category. So if, for example, I am an SC, and if I don't declare that I am an SC, I will be only considered for an open category position. So basically, the system will treat me as a general category student. For each reserve category in all institutions, merit scores must be respected to allocate positions. This is very crucial because meritocracy is at the heart of this resource allocation procedures all over India. So this will be very important. So, and as I mentioned earlier, there is a particular order, and this is actually back to Supreme Court decision that open category positions are filled first, followed by SC, ST, and OBC positions. As I said earlier, SC and ST positions, if they are unfilled, well, they will remain vacant. But the situation is different for OBCs. Unfilled OBC positions must be made open category positions. Well, actually, regarding this last bullet point, the allocation procedures of educational institutions and the job matchings differ, because in job matching, this is not the case. So 2008 Supreme Court decision that requires unfilled OBC positions to be made open category positions, it just covers educational institutions, but not the government-sponsored jobs. So it is important that the recent papers by Sönmez and Yenmez, they do not talk at all about OBC reservation. They only talk about the reserve system, but not the reservation process. So that is an important difference between our approach and theirs.
Can I ask one quick clarification here? So, in the previous slide, so the first bullet point is fine. So can a member of reserve category, say SC,
yeah,
that member declared his category, given his or her merit list, can that be ever considered in the open category or not?
So you will see.
Okay.
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. So actually, it is the third bullet point that will be very relevant to your question. Right. So since open category positions are filled first, if you are an SC, but if you score really high, it is very likely that you will get an open category position. Okay, I will actually, just for this point, we will see an example. But that is actually very, very crucial, and I am glad that you asked this.
So like in short, can we say that for open category, we just treat everyone equally and assign according to their merit? And then for the each category, we will come to their specific category, like people or member.
Perfect. Yeah, that is that is true, and it is very important that open category positions are filled first. Okay, so what is the spirit of affirmative action? So the spirit of affirmative action, not only in India but also in the US, in Turkey, in my country. So the spirit is they wanna, you know, uplift people who do not score well. So who is the intended beneficiary? the intended beneficiary is not the SC, ST, or OBC student who do really well. So that is not the target. The target is people who do, relatively poorly compared to others, and they try to boost these people, right? So because of this, it is very important that open category positions are filled first. Look, if you fill open category position first, the high scoring reserve category members will receive open category positions, which will leave more slots to the people who perform worse than those.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, that is very important. So for the rest of the talk, I will be introducing a very simple choice rule that actually Botswana et al. Uses in their current proposal, and also we will be using in our proposal as well. So this will be the building block of this whole matching process. So given the distribution of positions across categories, okay, and given a set of applicants A, okay, and suppose we have every individual's category membership, so we know who is general category, who is SC, who is ST. So just the remark, for the sake of this talk, we will be assuming the following. I know in India it might not be always the case, but if you do not belong to SC, you cannot really claim that you are an SC, because you have to validate. You need to provide a proof that you are actually a member of SC. Okay, so that is very important. I know I read some of the some stories about some people actually do this illegally, but we will be assuming that. So this choice rule has two stages. In the first stage, as I said earlier, open category positions are going to be filled, and in the second stage, the SC, ST, and OBC categories are going to be filled. Okay, so in stage one, we only consider open category positions, 50.5% of the seats, and individuals are chosen one at a time following the merit ranking, okay, up to the capacity of the open category positions. And we will, let's call the set of chosen applicants by this, ugly notation. In the second stage, among the remaining applicants, so again, just a remark that in stage one, some members of SC, ST, and OBC might be chosen in the open category. So that is very important. In the second stage, among the remaining applicants, each reserve category, applicants are chosen one at a time following the ranking of that particular category. This is a very simple two-stage choice procedure that we will be utilizing. Okay, so now some preliminary definitions for those who do not know much about matching theory. So a matching, basically, forget about the notation. A matching is basically a function tells me who is assigned to which institution. Okay, and the primary goal in centralized matching market is called stability. So introduced by Gale and Shapley in 1962, and then it is adapted to different resource allocation problems. So what happens is we collect strict preferences from applicants, and in a sense we collect a description of the choice procedures of institutions, okay, and then to decide if a given matching is stable or not, we check three conditions, okay? So the first two are called individual rationality. The first one is individual rationality for applicants. So each applicant must be getting and it must be assigning to an institution he or she finds acceptable, okay, so that he or she lists in his or her ranking. The second one is very important. So the second one is very important because it will actually tell me that if reservation policy is respected or not, okay? So given a set of applicants that are assigned to a particular institution, okay, so that set, when that set is provided to that institution, it must be choosing all of the applicants in that set. If not, then some of the rules that governs that choice rule must be violated. And the third one is called no blocking. Okay, so no blocking is this. So there must be no institution and a student who actually prefers each other. In the sense that the student prefers this institution to his assigned institution, and for the institution's perspective, when we add this individual to the assigned set of students of this institution, the student will be chosen. So we do not want this to be the case. In the context of India, let me, this is a very, might be a very technical definition, but let me tell you what this tells in the context of India. The first one is telling that the applicant's preferences, submitted preferences, must be respected. The second one is telling me that reservation policy must be respected. So how institutions choose their applicants must be respected. And is telling me that each applicant must be assigned to an highest ranked institution possible in his or her ranking, given institution's choice procedures. So this is last, I think, technical slide, and then we will go back to examples and particularly talk about Indian story. So in this context, we say that a mechanism basically is a function that is from the Cartesian product of set of all preferences across institutions and set of all reserve category membership profiles into a set of all matchings. So here, just note that here we fix institutional choice rules, because you can think that institutional choice rules are described by the government so that they must be respected. So we fix them, and that given that we know the choice rules, a mechanism basically is a mapping from Cartesian product of preferences and types of students into set of all matchings. So I will be talking about two different incentive compatibility conditions. The first one is called strategy proofness, and that is one of the main primary policy goals in matching markets, which tells that individuals shouldn't have any incentive to lie about their submitted preferences. So they must submit it must be weekly dominant strategy for every single individual to submit their true ranking. Okay. The second one is particularly designed for India. Okay. This is about reserve category membership revelation. So with an example, we will be showing you guys that, you might probably right now thinking, oh, of course I will be declare my SC, ST or OBC status because it gives me an advantage. But we will show you a very simple and very interesting example that with the current procedure right now introduced by Baswana et al, and let's say an OBC student actually might get a better assignment without stating that he or she is an OBC student. Basically, without revealing her type, she might actually get a better assignment. And we will show that with a very simple example. So what does this condition tells? Well, this condition tells that we want a mechanism that gives every single applicant right incentive to declare their reserve category membership truthfully. Okay, so this is very important for affirmative action scheme, because I mean, if we don't give the members of reserve category applicants the right incentive to tell their privilege, in a sense, then we cannot really talk about anything about affirmative action. So I will be giving example about those two points very soon. Before that, let me just introduce this algorithm that is that was introduced by Gale and Shapley. It's called deferred acceptance algorithm, and it is the most used algorithm in centralized matching markets, and it does the following. So this P tilde, so this might be actually different than students through preferences. We will call this as submitted preferences, okay? Submitted student preferences. So given submitted student preferences, given the type that each student submit, and given this simple two-stage choice procedure, the deferred acceptance algorithm with respect to this particular reserve choice rule does the following. So this is actually a computer program. So computer does this after collecting all the necessary inputs. It does the following. It consists of steps, and in the first step, each individual applied to his top choice institution. And then each institution faces a set of applicants, and each institution from those set of applicants choose a subset according to their reservation policy and the vector of initial distribution. If you are rejected by your first choice, then you will be applying to your second choice, okay? And the institution, your second choice institution, will actually holding some students from the first stage, and in the second stage, it will consider the union of the applicants from the first stage and the students who are applying in this second stage, and from their union, it will select a subset again by using its simple reserve choice rule, that two-stage choice rule. And this will go so on and so forth. Why this is important? Because this is going to give me a stable allocation at the end, so that means people's preferences are going to be respected, affirmative action constraints are going to be respected, and each individual will get his best choice possible according to his or her preference ranking, given the affirmative action constraints. Now, I want to go back and I want to talk about what Baswana et al. Introduced. So Baswana et al. They proposed deferred acceptance algorithm, but for OBC reservation, they do something very interesting, and we are curious why they are doing what they are doing. So they do the following. So in the current joint seat allocation process of IITs and non-IITs, they run the deferred acceptance algorithm on all candidates, okay? And then they find the matching. And at each institution, they check how many OBC seats are unfilled, okay? So let's say an institution has 100 seats and OBC has 27 positions, and let's say 7 of them remained vacant when they run deferred acceptance on all applicants. You know what they do? They do, okay, we are going to move those 7 seats from OBC to open in a backward fashion, in the following sense, that they adjust the initial distribution, they increase the initial open category, number of open category positions by 7, and they decrease the OBC positions by 7, so that the total number of seats are not changed, but open category seats are now, the number is higher and OBC number is lower. Okay, so what they do, well, they rerun deferred acceptance on all candidates in a second stage. Okay, and then they check again if is there any OBC seats unfilled. Well, you might think why that will be the case, but think about the following. So we move 7 seats from OBC to open. Remember that open category positions are filled first. Suppose some OBC students who are in who got OBC seat in the first stage now might actually get open category positions because we have more open category positions right now. Well, that will lead to some unfilled positions in the OBC category in a second stage. So they will rerun deferred acceptance sequentially until there is no seat left vacant in the OBC category. Okay.
May I ask one quick clarification here?
Yeah. So here is an example. Maybe just let me
Okay.
talk about this example to make that point clear, and then we move on. Okay. So look, this is a very simple example. There are 10 positions. 5 of them are open, 1 reserved for SC, 1 reserved for ST, and 3 reserved for OBC. So this example is intended to show you guys how current the reservation, OBC the reservation works. So in the first, so since there is only one institution here, deferred acceptance basically just, just this institution runs its choice procedures, and that's it. So you see the merit scores. So these top 5 students, I1, I2, I3, I4, and I5 will get 5 open category positions, okay, which is good. And then the reserve SC position will be filled by I7. Reserve ST position will be filled by I8. And while I am looking at the list, well, there's only one OBC student, and he will be getting one of the 3 OBC seats, okay? Then what happens? Well, then 2 OBC seats are vacant. So what they do, what Baswana et al. Do is, okay, we will update this vector, okay? We are gonna make this number 5, we are gonna make it 7. We are gonna make this number 3, 1, okay? So now they rerun this. So now from I1 to I7, they will be receiving open category position, okay? But notice that the OBC student who received OBC seat in the first stage is now getting an open category position, okay? And I8 is gonna get the ST student, and actually SC seat will be vacant, but since it cannot be reserved, it will just stay vacant, okay? So since now I6, which is OBC student receiving an open category position, that one OBC position is also now unfilled. So that will be actually be made open category positions, and Baswana et al. They will update this vector again. So it will be now 8, 1, 1, and 0. So see, all 3 OBC positions are now made open category position. So now 8 student will receive open category position, okay? And since there is no SC or ST students are left, SC and ST seats will be vacant, okay? And by law, they cannot be provided to the use of others. And in this problem, even though you have 10 positions, only 8 of them will be filled, and you will be wasting two positions. Now I can take your question.
Yeah, so I was thinking that Boswan's rule, why to do that, change that category vector again and again? Why can't we simply in the first round whatever the OB seats are left, just on that, run the merit list. That's it.
Well, this is exactly what we are proposing.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me. Like, okay.
So what we are proposing is not like a rocket science. We propose something very intuitive, and
Right.
not only it will provide Pareto improvement,
Absolutely.
not only it will improve allocation of every single student, but as you see, you will see, it will actually remove all possible manipulation possibilities. The whole procedure will be strategy proof, and every single person is gonna should submit their reserve category membership truthfully.
Got it.
Bertan, I have a question. So, what are the theoretical properties that paper claims that this procedure has? I'm curious about that.
Can you repeat again?
What kind of theoretical properties do they claim that this procedure has?
Which ours or Baswan et al?
Baswan et al.
Well, Baswan et al.'s procedure is actually even more complicated than this. So one reason they do that, we talked with Yash Kanoria. We had a meeting, Orhan and I had a meeting. One thing they mentioned is that the authorities, they actually proposed to authorities that for the OBC category, let's change its priority ranking. Okay, so basically, let's make OBC category non-exclusive by ranking OBC people first, and then add below them all other applicants according to their merit score. And this proposal was rejected, and they write this in their paper. And one argument from authorities, so I would love to actually talk Indian authorities about this, is that they claim they want to have clear cutoff scores. So they fear that when they change the priority ranking of OBC category, they will have, in a sense, like a misleading cutoff score.
Okay.
This is what he told us. So this is the procedure. They call this procedure, Baswana et al. Call this procedure multi-run deferred acceptance, as they rerun this procedure by adjusting the initial distribution vector across categories. Okay. So I actually just talked about this procedure on this example, so I think it is most likely well understood. So now, what is wrong? What is wrong about this multi-run deferred acceptance? So we will show you two things. One is it will be actually manipulable by preference misreporting, and also it will be manipulable by not stating your true reserve category membership. So this is both of them actually use the same example. These are very simple examples that explain the shortcomings of the multi-run deferred acceptance procedure. Suppose we have two institutions, A and B, each of which has 2 seats. One is open, one reserved for OBC. Okay, so just for the sake of simplicity, we just consider OBC here. So there are 4 students. The first 2, I1 and I2, they are members of general category. I3 and I4, members of OBC. Okay, and the merit scores are so that I1 is the top student, I4 is the lowest rank, and the preferences of student 1, 2, 3, and 4 is seen here. 1 and 2 prefers program A to B, and 3 and 4 prefers B to A. Okay, so let's see what happens here in the deferred acceptance. So in deferred acceptance, everybody applies their top choice. I1 and I2 applies to A, I3 and I4 applies to B. So now let's go to the choice, the selection rule of institution A. So it will fill the open category position first, which since I1 has a higher score, so I1 is assigned to program A, and since there is no applicants, so I1 and I2 are only applicants applying to second category program A, so OBC seat will be unfilled. Okay, so since OBC seat in program A is unfilled, it will be made open category position. So in institution A, okay, institution A, so the initial distribution will be updated, and the vector will be 2 and 0. So we will have 2 open category positions and 0 OBC. What happens in B? Well, in B, I3 will get the open category position, and B will get the OBC position. But remember that I2 is rejected from his top choice because he is not a OBC student. Now, the second student is gonna apply to B, okay? And when he applies to B, he will be getting the, since he has higher score than I3 and I4, he will be getting the open category position, and I3 will get the OBC position, and I4 will be kicked, okay? And I4, then I4 is gonna apply school A. And now in school A, student 1 will be receiving the open category position, and 4 will be receiving the OBC position. Okay, so this is the multi-run DA outcome. So now
just one clarification on the mechanism itself. So when the institution A changed its OBC to the open category, then can't 2 again apply there?
So, so if you look at the first choices,
Right.
student 1 and 2 has A as first choice. So these 2 are going to be applying to school A, right?
Right.
And they are both general category students.
Right.
And I1 will be getting the open category.
Absolutely.
I2 will not get anything because he is not a member of OBC.
Right.
And he will be rejected. Once he is rejected, then OBC seat will be empty, okay? And
Right.
then that OBC seat is gonna be made open category positions, and that will change the distribution vector. And it will,
now, after that, can't I2 again apply in the A institute? Because
so
now the
in deferred
category
acceptance, in deferred acceptance, once you are rejected by your top choice, then you have to apply to your second choice.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, I mean, this is sad for I2 because even though he has higher score than I4 gets A, okay, but I2 just gets his second choice, okay? So, look at the following. This is something I find very interesting. Suppose student I2 states A as the only acceptable school. Okay, so the only difference is that now he declares B as unacceptable. Now let's rerun the deferred acceptance here. Again, 1 and 2 will apply to A. I1 will get the open seat. I2 will get rejected, right? And I3 and I3 will be getting the open category position. I4 will be getting the OBC position. Okay, and in the seat, the vacant OBC seat is going to be made open category position, so the vector will be 2 and 0, and in the second stage, this time since I2 finds B unacceptable, it will be I1 and I2 will be receiving the two open category positions, and school B is assigned to I3 and I4.
But previously you said that now I2 cannot apply to institution A because A has rejected I2.
Wait, I think I made a right, Orhan. I think I made a mistake in explaining this. So let me just recall. No, the example is true. I think that just the explanation I gave was not correct explanation. So the with this preference data, the multi-run outcome is
okay, got it.
This, and with this preference data, by I2 lying about their his ranking, he will be able to get his top choice by basically lying about his preference. Let me just think about what I said wrong. I'm also puzzled right now, but I will be. Let's talk about this after the talk, okay? We can go over this.
Sure.
Another manipulation possibility is via not reporting reserve category membership. So if you look at the original example here, I4 is getting is assigned to program A, which is his second choice. So the same example, now suppose I4 does not report her OBC membership, and therefore she is only considered for open category positions. Okay, so in the first DA iteration, this will be the assignment, and then in the as you see, A is assigned to only I1, OBC seat is vacant here, and then it will be made open category position for the second iteration. In the second iteration, I1 and I2 are assigned to A, and B is assigned to 3, because remember, I4 is the guy who has the lowest score. And now in school B, now OBC category, OBC seat is empty in school B because there is no applicant there, okay? And we update the vector of distribution vector at institution B, and B now also has 2 open category positions for the third stage, and in the third stage, everybody actually is receiving their top choice. So basically, these are simple examples. Maybe I think I did a little mistake in explaining the very first one, but when I4 does not report her OBC membership, okay, he will be assigned to institution B by doing so, okay? So, and this is really bad because in this affirmative action policy, we should give, we should tell applicants that when they actually submit their true type, they shouldn't be worse off. But this example actually tells you that and shows you that when I4 reveals OBC membership, he or she will be getting a worse assignment. So now our solution is actually, what I don't know what your name, but our friend just suggested. So why? So the intuition here is, why do we need to rerun deferred acceptance over and over again to adjust number of positions across categories? Okay, so we can actually do the transfer between OBC and open category position within the choice or selection rule of the institution, and we can actually run deferred acceptance only once, but we modify how institutions are choosing, okay? And when we do that, we will show you 3 things. One is we will be getting rid of all these manipulation channels. So the procedure will be strategy proof and incentive compatible. And two, we will actually get, so that will be the most important result compared to Baswana et al. We will provide a Pareto improvement. Okay. So we will be defining two different choice rules, and then we will actually compare them as well. So the first choice rule that we will introduce is called backward transfers choice rule. It is called backwards because we are going to transfer seats from OBC to open category position while open category position is filled before the OBC. So how can we do that? Well, this is in spirit very similar to what Baswana et al. Doing at with the mechanism, and this is kind of the same thing is done adjusting that vector within the choice function, not at the mechanism level. Okay, so we adjust the capacities at the choice rule level, not at the mechanism level, and that will actually that will be providing a lot of good result. So remember that simple choice rule that I introduced in the first stage. We fill open category positions. In the second stage, we fill SC, ST, and OBC. Okay, so we will be using that choice rule over and over again with updated distribution of positions across categories. So in iteration 1, we are going to run that simple choice rules, and let's say that tau 1 is the number of vacant OBC seats. Well, we are going to transfer tau 1 many positions from OBC to open category positions, and we update the vector. And in the second iteration, we are going to run the choice rule from scratch, from on all applicants the institution faces. Okay, and we will do this. We will iterate this until there is no OBC positions is left vacant. Okay. So a definition first. We will say that the choice rule is incentive. Remember, the incentive compatible definition I gave before was at the mechanism level. So this is incentive compatibility for a choice rule that is actually introduced first by Orhan in his AJ micro paper for that he talks about the Brazilian admission procedure. So we will say that a choice rule C is incentive compatible for reserve category membership revelation if basically if you are chosen when you are not reporting your true type, you must be chosen when you do so as well. Or in a different way, if you are not chosen while you truthfully submit your reserve category membership, okay, and if you are not chosen, then you shouldn't be chosen when you don't report your reserve category membership. So basically, this definition is just kind of incentivize applicants to report truthfully their reserve category membership. Well, this backward transfer choice rules are incentive compatible. So this is our first result. So why this is important? Because if you think about this, in many matching markets in India, decentralized procedures are used. Okay, so it might be the case that a particular institution, just select applicants by itself, not a part of a centralized procedure whatsoever. So this definition being satisfied then is very important for those type of decentralized markets. So this proposition tells you that it is safe to use this type of choice rules if institutions fill their position in a decentralized way. So now, if we use these backward transfer choice rules, if institutions utilize this backward transfer choice rules, and in a centralized market that assignment is done via deferred acceptance, then deferred acceptance becomes strategy proof. Okay, so remember that multi-run deferred acceptance was not strategy proof, but deferred acceptance with respect to backward transfer choice rules are strategy proof. So the punchline here is when you rerun the mechanism by updating the input, its distribution vector, when you rerun the mechanism, there might be possibility for manipulation. But when you rerun the choice rules and run mechanism only once, the procedure is basically dominant strategy incentive compatible or strategy proof. And also, the deferred acceptance mechanism gives right incentive to applicants to truthfully report their reserve category membership. So it is safe for everybody to truthfully report their SC, ST, or OBC memberships. And maybe the most important result is this theorem that, and yeah, the proof of this was the most technically challenged and took months. So the deferred acceptance mechanism with respect to backward transfer choice rules, basically weakly Pareto dominates the multi-run deferred acceptance mechanism at every problem. So basically this is telling, if we just rerun the choice rule, okay, and run deferred acceptance with those updated choice rules once, is better for applicants than this multi-run deferred acceptance mechanism. So it is basically better to rerun the choice procedure to handle the reservation at the choice function level than the mechanism level. Well, as a corollary of this, and we proved this basically by showing that the multi-run deferred acceptance outcome is stable according to the backward transfer choice rules. And since backward transfer choice rules are, we didn't mention here, but satisfy substitutes and low aggregate demand condition, it will be the student optimal, which means the DA outcome, the DA mechanism outcome with respect to backward transfer choice rules, Pareto dominates the multi-run deferred acceptance outcome. But we have this very famous rural hospital theorem. The number of individuals who are matched are going to be the same, meaning the number of people who are matched under the multi-run DA versus the number of people who are matched under deferred acceptance with respect to backward transfer choice rules are going to be the same, but the second one will Pareto dominate the first one. And this is actually a better rule to use. So the only reason we introduced the backward transfer choice rule is that we even though we didn't really know the exact reason why authorities wants to transfer from OBC to open category in a backward fashion, we thought there's something important about that. So this is why we introduced that choice rule. Actually, a better solution for this problem will be using the forward transfer choice rules, which does the following. So again, open category positions will be first, and then SC, ST, and OBC positions will be filled. Suppose there's vacancy in the OBC positions, what we will be doing is we are going to create another open category positions at the very end. Okay, so rather than transferring seats from OBC to open category in a backward fashion, let's do it in a forward fashion, meaning after filling the OBC seats, let's create a new, like a fifth category, but it will be filled according to the merit score ranking of all applicants. So it is effectively an open category position. And this is how we do the transfer. So here, this is a three-stage procedure. And it's very simple. In the first stage, you just fill the open category positions up to the capacity. In the second stage, you fill SC, ST, and OBC. And in the third stage, if there is any vacancy in OBC category, just make them open category positions and fill them at the very end. So this is technically same as adjusting the priority ranking of OBC by adding all other candidates below the OBC candidates. It is the same thing. And these choice rules, also forward transfer choice rules, incentive compatible for category membership revelation. That means if institution fill its slots by itself, okay, so in a decentralized manner, so using forward transfer choice rules is safe in the sense that it will give applicants the right incentive to tell the truth about their SC, ST, OBC memberships. Well, in a centralized marketplace, if deferred acceptance is used, and if institutions using forward transfer choice rules, then deferred acceptance will be strategy proof. So everybody, it will be weakly dominant strategy for everybody to tell the truth with regard to their ranking over programs. And also deferred acceptance mechanism will be incentive compatible for type revelation. So if I am an SC, it will be my weakly dominant strategy to report that I am an SC student. And same for ST and OBC. So in the last part of the paper, we compare, by the way, I told this to Debasis, but we are having like right now a major revision right now. So this is actually the very first version of the paper. Soon, within a couple months, I think we will have a substantially different version, but these core ideas will be still there. So now we will be comparing the backward and forward transfers choice rules. Okay, so this is basically, this example will provide a very clear comparison, and then with regard to backward and forward transfer choice rules, and then we will generalize the idea that we will get this problem. So there are 8 students here, and the initial distribution, so, and there are 8, there are how many? 7 seats, 3 open, 1 SC, 1 ST, and 2 OBC, and there are 8 students with the following merit scores, and we are going to apply both backward and forward transfer choice rules here, and we will see that actually forward transfer choice rules will choose a higher number of applicants. Not only that, we will see that forward transfer choice rules will choose a better set on the basis of merit. So let me give you the definition, and then I will be talking about that. So this is basically a set comparison definition. Okay, so we say that a set of individuals I is a better set of individuals on the basis of merit than a set of individuals J with I having at least as many candidates compared to J at institution as if there is an injection G between these two sets from J to I does the following. So the merit score of G of J is at least as high as the merit score of student J. So basically, when we compare two sets, for every candidate here, there must be a candidate. We map basically candidates, and the candidate in the first set will have at least as high score than the student we map it to. And there must be at least one student who in the second set will have strictly higher score than the one in the first set. Okay, so this is basically just comparing two sets of individuals on the basis of merit. Okay, so just think about very simple example, sets of 3 students, and each student in the first set having strictly higher merit score than the corresponding student in the second set, then we can say that the first set is a better set on the basis of merit. Okay. So then we adopt this definition as follows. We say that a choice rule C merit-based dominates another choice rule C prime. Okay. If for every subset of individuals A, we either have CA being superset of C prime of A, or CA is a better set of individuals on the basis of merit than C prime of A. So that refers to this first definition. So basically, a choice rule merit base dominates another choice rule if either it always chooses a superset of what the second choice rule chooses from the same set, or the first choice rule choose from every single set chooses a better set of individuals on the basis of merit, according to the very first definition here on this page, than this C prime. Here, so as I said, the reason that we are giving these set comparison is that we want to, so we provide two solutions that solves the incentive issues, backward choice rules and forward choice rules. They are both good in the sense of manipulation. So they are both strategy proof and incentive compatible, both at decentralized market or at centralized marketplaces with deferred acceptance. So we now want to compare this backward and forward choice rules. And our theorem here is that forward transfer choice rule merit-based dominates the backward transfer choice rule. So they are both strategy proof and incentive compatible in centralized marketplaces with deferred acceptance algorithm. But if you use forward transfer choice rules, we say that you are actually getting a better set of students. Okay, I mean, they might be the same, but it can never be worse. So forward transfer choice rules merit-based dominates the backward transfer choice rules. Well, this theorem is at the choice function level. This comparison does not hold for the outcomes of deferred acceptance with respect to backward and forward transfer choice rules. So basically, we cannot say that at the mechanism level. We cannot say that the deferred acceptance outcome with respect to forward transfer choice rules merit-based dominates the deferred acceptance outcomes with respect to backward transfer choice rules. So this theorem actually useful at the choice rule level, but not at the mechanism level. And another incomparability result, the deferred acceptance mechanism with forward transfer choice rules and the DA mechanism with backward transfer choice rules are Pareto incomparable. So basically, there is no Pareto comparison between them. And because of this, we, since they're incomparable, we say that in the conclusion, they're actually both fine if incentives are the issue here, preference misreporting and reserve category misreporting are issues. They are both good to use. Okay, let me conclude here. So with simple examples here, we show that how the reservation policies are implemented matter a lot, and we introduced two choice rules and deferred acceptance mechanism with respect to those two choice rules, and we show that they have good incentive properties. They are incentive compatible for reserve category membership, and they are strategy proof. So if there's a single institution, we recommend the use of forward transfer choice rules because it chooses a better set on the basis of merit, as I recently mentioned. In a centralized marketplaces with multiple institutions, the deferred acceptance mechanism with respect to both backward and forward transfer choice rules are strategy proof and incentive compatible, and both may be used. Okay, and actually we have the for the backward transfer choice rules, we have clear-cut Pareto comparison with the currently implemented multi-run deferred acceptance, and we can actually safely say that if the authorities now move from multi-run deferred acceptance to deferred acceptance with backward transfer choice rules, it will provide Pareto improvement for the whole system. And that's it. I would like to thank you all for your time, and I can take questions.
Thank you very much. So, are there any questions for Bertan? Any questions?
I have actually one or two clarificated doubts, if I can ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the maybe I'm missing the name. The like previously the algorithm of multi DA.
Yeah, multi-run deferred acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that mechanism, clarification, when we adjust the this uh, seats after some OBC seats are left,
Mm-hmm.
then the candidates who are rejected by that institute,
Mm-hmm.
can they apply again after
Yeah,
readjustments?
yeah.
They can.
Very good. When they update the distribution vector,
Right.
they
Mhm.
they rerun deferred acceptance from the beginning on all candidates. And you are right. It might be the case that you are rejected in the first iteration, but you might be chosen from your, let's say, top choice in the second iteration.
So
It is possible.
so if it is convenient to you, can you go back to that example? Just I then want some clarification on that, where A
This
and
one
B.
or
Yes,
previous?
yes, yes,
Okay.
this one. So in the first run,
Yeah.
uh, to institute A, 1 and 2 will apply,
Yeah.
and agent 1 will be accepted and 2 will be rejected.
Uh,
Now,
yeah.
institute A1 has one OBC empty. That will be then converted to the general category or the open category. But then, as you are saying, they will again run the DA, then 1 and 2 will then again apply to A. Then, according to that, A should be assigned to 1 and 2.
Yeah. Okay. So, Orhan, can you see what I couldn't explain here?
The thing is, capacities are updated at the end of DA algorithm.
Yeah.
If you think about the DA algorithm here, first run, first I1 and I2 will apply to A, and I3 and I4 will apply to B. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I1 will be accepted, but I2 will be rejected because
Absolutely.
yeah, is a general category student. In institution B, I3 will be
3 and 4 will be accepted. 3 will be in the open category and 4 will be in the OBC category. Agreed.
exactly 3
Yeah.
and 4
Then
will be accepted, but we are not done yet.
okay. Okay.
Since I2 is rejected by institution A, I2 will
We'll go to
apply
the
to
okay.
the
Okay.
second choice, which
Yeah.
is
That
B,
was
and
the
will
part
be accepted by B.
Yeah.
Now I got the point. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. So then the one complete DA will generate this allocation: A 1 4 and B 2 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, there will be
Oh.
only one iteration here. Multi-run
Okay.
will have only one iteration here, and it will be this outcome.
But if
Okay.
I2
Okay.
if I2 says that B is not acceptable for me, then I2 will not apply anymore after
Okay.
rejected by A.
Right. Right. Right.
Now
right.
we will have transfer.
Now I can see that. Okay. Okay. Then after DA, agent 2 can get the opportunity of applying A again.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now I can see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Orhan. That was.
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
I didn't run the whole DA.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And what will backward transfer do differently here?
Backward transfer will do the following. Let's run the backward transfer here and let's see what happens here. Okay. So let's see. If we run backward transfer choice rule, both I1 and I2 will apply to A, right?
Right.
And then I1 will get the open seat, I2 will be rejected, right? Since he
Right.
is rejected, the OBC seat is empty, now the capacity vector is going to be updated to 2 to 0, and it will consider the exact same applicant pool with the updated preference list, the updated vector, sorry. And now both I1 and I2 will be accepted for the open category position, and done in a single stage. 1 and 2, I mean, when we just use DA only once, I1 and I2 will get the school A, and I2 and I4 will get school B.
So we simply say that do not wait till the end of DA,
yes, yes.
but reserve immediately.
Okay.
And if I may ask, and how the forward thing will work here, just to see that what
Very
do you mean
good.
by
So
that?
the forward allocation, forward transfer choice rule will give you the same allocation. It will be the following. So for institution A, I1 and I2 will apply. I1 will get the open category position. I2 will not get the OBC position.
Right.
And after that, after OBC, we will have again the open category position. Okay. And I2 will get that.
Okay.
Okay. So I2 will get the open category position, which is transferred from the OBC, basically.
Okay. Okay. So instead of like changing the initial seat allocation and then running DA, forward is saying that now just create that much of open seats and then take the people accordingly, if I'm getting correct. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it is very, I mean, both of them are very straightforward.
Right. And makes sense, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah, we hope actually we can somehow reach and to try to explain this with these type of simple examples, because, and also this is very important. I didn't mention to you, but actually Botswana et al.'s procedure is a lot more complicated than what we only talk about here, the reservation aspect of it. It is actually an indirect mechanism, and it has the following aspect as well. So when they ask students to submit preferences in the beginning, and they find the deferred acceptance outcome with the multi-run, okay, and they say each student, okay, they give each student 3 options. I think they call them freeze, float, and slide. Okay. So they provide 3 options. The one option is, okay, I take my seat and leave the system. 2, I want to be in the same institution, but consider me for a better program that I ranked in my ranking. And 3rd is just consider me for any possible improvement. Because because of the reservation in the next stages, there will be seats coming from OBC to general category, and then that will actually will change the allocation of many students. So there might be a lot of improvements for many students. So some students actually choose improvements within the same institution across different programs. Some say, okay, like improve my allocation, to the possible extent. So what they suggest actually is not a direct mechanism. It's an indirect mechanism, because they within the stages they keep getting inputs from applicants.
You also talked about stability, but you didn't have any results on stability and so on.
Why? Okay, very good. The reason we talk about stability here for 2 things. One is stability here is important, even though, I mean, both for forward and backward transfer choice rules, of course, the DA outcome will be stable with respect to forward and backward transfer choice rules. So that must be actually stated here as a result. So the role of stability here is to ensure that these reservation and de-reservation policies are respected from the institution's perspective. But on the technical side, when we do the Pareto comparison between DA with backward choice rules and multi-run DA, the proof goes as follows. We show that the multi-run outcome is stable with respect to backward transfer choice rules when all institutions use backward transfer choice rules. So that is the crucial part on the technical side, that we use stability. But yeah, I think I should have added stability results here. I just thought they are straightforward, so I didn't put them as results.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Bertan. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Thank you very much.